The Black Effect presents Family Therapy, and I'm your host, Elliot Connie. Jay is the woman in this dynamic who is currently co-parenting 2 young boys with her former partner, David.
David, he is a leader. He just don't want to leave me.
But how do you lead a woman? How do you lead in a relationship? Like, what's the blueprint?
David, you just asked the most important question. Listen to Family Therapy on the Black Effect Podcast Network, iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Oh, hi, I'm Rachel Zoe, and my podcast, Climbing in Heels, is back and better than ever. You might know me from the Rachel Zoe Project, or perhaps from my work as a celebrity stylist. And guess what? I'm still just as obsessed with all things fashion, beauty, and business. Climbing in Heels is all about celebrating the stories of extraordinary women, and this season is here to bring you a weekly dose of glamour, inspiration, and fun. Listen to Climbing in Heels every Friday on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm Tamika D. Mallory.
And it's your boy, my son, the General.
And we are your hosts of TMI. And catch us every Wednesday on the Black Effect Network, breaking down social and civil rights issues, pop culture, and politics in hopes of pushing our culture forward to make the world a better place for generations to come. Listen to TMI on the Black Effect Podcast Network, iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
That's right.
Get emotional with me, Radhi Devlukia, in my new podcast, A Really Good Cry. We're going to be talking with some of my best friends.
I didn't know we were going to go there on this.
People that I admire.
When we say listen to your body, really tune into what's going on.
Authors of books that have changed my life.
Now you're talking about sympathy, which is different than empathy, right?
Never forget, it's okay to cry as long as you make it a really good one. Listen to A Really Good Cry with Radhi Devlukia on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
You don't know me.
Confession I can't take back.
I am
the Masked Speaker.
Texas 78592 says, I decided to spend my savings on a giant 7-foot bronze statue of myself.
What?
I just put it at a local park with no permission. I'm single and don't care. If anybody thinks it's stupid, this is my legacy.
Okay.
Deal with it.
All right.
I'm into it.
That's bold. There's other ways to have your life's work honored and remembered. One way is by coming onto the Masked Speaker and telling your incredible true stories to the masses anonymously.
Ooh, an anonymous legend.
Feels good.
And we've got a guy who wants to plant his statue right in the middle of our studio. He's chosen to go by Freddie today. So, Freddie, welcome to the show.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Freddie, our studio's really small. I don't know where your statue's going to fit, bro.
I was going to say we can move with all the other ones over and just squish it in between.
Sorry. Yeah, you mean the 10 other ones we have?
We always have room for more stories here, Freddie. So the voice changer is on. You are the Masked Speaker. Whenever you're ready, let's hear your confession.
Okay, here goes. I work in IT, and I recently left this company that I worked for about 12 years.
Okay.
And it wasn't my choice.
Oh.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. So you were forced out of the company.
I like how you say you left. I mean, that sucks. I've been laid off before. I've never been fired, but I've been laid off, and it sucks.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the official phrase is not of my own volition.
Oh.
Wow, that's fancy.
That sounds like you got in trouble.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into it, but there were definitely some disciplinary issues involved.
Okay.
I don't think it's let go. I think it's fired.
Yeah, it's fired for cause, it sounds like.
I
But
think professionally not great, but personally, we would all get along really great with you, Freddie.
that's not your confession is why you got fired?
No.
Oh.
Because here's the thing. The secret, they're probably going to find out eventually.
Oh,
there's a secret that you've been not telling them?
Yeah, they haven't yet. But I figure I'll tell you guys first so I can get it out there, get it off my chest.
Oh,
get it off your chest or brag? Because it sounds like...
Honestly, a little bit of both.
Okay.
Interesting.
So what happened? What's your secret?
Okay, so about 12 years ago, I started there. They had a really nice welcome event for me and the other IT guys that they brought on.
Okay.
We had a cake in the break room. You meet everybody. They welcome you to the company. You shake everybody's hand.
That's nice.
Okay.
But one of the sales guys comes in the room and he's like, "Oh, it looks like they hired some more nerds."
Oh.
And he literally walked up to me and jammed his thumb right into my slice of cake.
Wow.
What?
And he laughed in my face and walked out.
What a bully.
Yeah, it was some real middle school bull.
Isn't it crazy that like you think you graduated high school, but then adult life is often just a same reflection?
Totally. It's like the people at work that try to make you eat impossible meat when you specifically said you didn't want to,
that is
and
not
then
the
they
same.
trick you into eating it.
That's
That is
even
not.
worse.
Yeah.
You have never been bullied, Jeffrey.
I present evidence A.
Okay. All right.
But-
Pansy.
Sorry, back to you, Freddie.
Pansy, she calls
Well, here's the
you.
thing. I made it a point to never forget that.
Yeah.
So up until I was recently let go, I'd been messing with his computer files.
Like how?
I'd go on his calendar and change his meeting times just a little bit. So, like, he'd be 10 to 30 minutes late.
Oh, my God.
And that's smart. If you only change it a little bit, you wouldn't notice. Like, it was like, oh, was it at 11:30? Oh, sorry.
And I forget him all the time because, like, you just get an automatic invite.
Yeah,
and you're like,
exactly.
yeah, I don't look at the details.
Now he's the guy who shows up late to every meeting. That's not a good look.
I like that.
Yeah. I would do stuff like I'd delete important emails that he'd get from certain clients.
Oh.
Wow.
Okay. Well, that one hurts the company more
Yeah.
than anybody. But,
I would mess around with his spreadsheets.
Oh. Did you do this for 12 years?
Yeah.
Oh.
I can be very petty.
Well, it seems like an even trade. He messed with your cake. You ruin his entire work life.
Uh-huh.
No. Ruining it means he would leave. And I didn't want him to leave. I wanted him to stay and just
continue the torture.
suffer.
Now that you're not there anymore, they're going to think, wow, this guy is so on top of it. Give this guy a raise.
Even he's going to be shocked.
Yeah.
Like, dang, I haven't been late to a meeting in 2 years.
How did I do this?
And it was funny. I mean, he'd be in the middle of a presentation and he couldn't explain why his numbers were higher or lower than he expected.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. According to this graph, I've lost a lot of sales. I don't remember that, but
But it must be true. I did this work, I think.
It's been a bad quarter.
Poor guy.
I know.
You make him feel like he's going crazy almost.
No, you're totally right. Even his boss noticed it too. So because of all of the quote unquote errors he was making, they didn't allow him to work from home anymore.
Oh, that's so messed up, actually. That's like the holy grail of work situations.
Dude.
No.
They forced him to come into the office every single day.
I'm not gonna. I almost felt guilty.
You
I
almost?
Almost.
Listen, he put his thumb in a slice
the
of cake.
cake.
We know.
You love cake. We get it.
I mean, he's not present for his children anymore because he's not at home and works 12 hours a day.
But you don't mess with my $9 sheet cake.
You didn't pay for it.
Exactly.
It gets better. It actually gets.
Are you kidding?
No
What?
way. How?
He got tested for ADHD and early onset Alzheimer's.
No.
Wait,
God.
what?
Oh my gosh. Okay.
I think that
Better's
got
not the
worse.
word.
Why?
Jeez.
Because it really got noticeable in the later, like, 5-6 years.
You really turned it up on him, okay?
Now, here's the thing. I do have, like, records on my work computer that I didn't get a chance to delete. I never got a chance to get to them. So if my replacement decides to go through my work computer, it wouldn't take much for him to figure out what I was doing. I'd be busted, but at this point, who cares?
Yeah, because you don't work there.
I thought you were hacking your own computer to delete those.
I can't get into the network. That's the problem.
Maybe your replacement will see that and continue carrying the torch for you. Just destroying this man.
It depends on how he got welcomed and the type of person he is.
No, that's a good point. Did they have cake or did they stick with individual cupcakes?
I don't know. I wasn't there.
Well, we get lots of free donuts here at the station. So if you want to work here and maybe like bump up all of our paychecks every single month a little bit.
Nice.
He even has the evil laugh down.
All right, man. Well, thanks for your confession there. I'm officially terrified of you. And text in to 78592 if you have a confession that you've been holding on to. We can hide your identity, mask your voice, and make you our next mass speaker. Your phone tap's coming up next.
Brooke and Jeffrey in the morning.
The Black Effect presents Family Therapy, and I'm your host, Elliot Connie. Jay is the woman in this dynamic who is currently co-parenting 2 young boys with her former partner, David.
David, he is a leader. He just don't want to leave me.
But how do you lead a woman? How do you lead in a relationship? Like, what's the blueprint?
David, you just asked the most important question. Listen to Family Therapy on the Black Effect Podcast Network, iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm Tamika D. Mallory.
And it's your boy, my son, the General.
And we are your hosts of TMI. And catch us every Wednesday on the Black Effect Network, breaking down social and civil rights issues, pop culture, and politics in hopes of pushing our culture forward to make the world a better place for generations to come. Listen to TMI on the Black Effect Podcast Network, iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
That's right.
Oh, hi, I'm Rachel Zoe, and my podcast, Climbing in Heels, is back and better than ever. You might know me from the Rachel Zoe Project, or perhaps from my work as a celebrity stylist. And guess what? I'm still just as obsessed with all things fashion, beauty, and business. Climbing in Heels is all about celebrating the stories of extraordinary women, and this season is here to bring you a weekly dose of glamour, inspiration, and fun. Listen to Climbing in Heels every Friday on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
When shopping for a new truck, look no further than Washington State's #1 volume Ford store, Bickford Ford. Now find a 2023 F-150 Roush Package Lariat with $1,500 off MSRP and customer cash, and an additional $10,500 Bickford discount. Plus, financing as low as 3.9% for 60 months. Bickford Ford on Bickford Avenue in Snohomish or Bickford.net. $200 doc fee may be added to sales price or capitalized cost. Stock number 230434. Offers expire 4/30/24. #1 volume Ford dealership according to Total New Ford Retail Sales Report for 2023.